Hello. As a patron of missing people, I am delighted to see.
He wasn't performing, he wasn't in the spotlight, and yet, in a single unexpected moment inside one of the most famous venues in the UK, everything changed. Sir Stephen Fry, a name associated with intelligence, calm, and control, suddenly found himself at the center of something completely different. A fall, multiple broken bones, and now, a legal battle demanding up to £100,000 in damages. But that's not even the part that raised the biggest questions. Because this wasn't just about the fall, it was about where it happened, and what might have gone wrong. So what exactly led to this incident inside the O2 Arena? And more importantly, was this truly just an accident, or something that could have been prevented? At the center of this story is one key question. How does someone like Stephen Fry, in a controlled, high-profile environment, end up with serious injuries? The O2 Arena isn't just any venue. It's designed to host massive crowds, major events, and high-profile guests. Safety isn't optional there, it's expected. So when something like this happens, it forces a deeper look. Because if it can happen to him, what does that say about the system in place? Here's what we actually know. Stephen Fry was at the O2 Arena when the incident occurred. During his time there, he suffered a fall severe enough to result in multiple broken bones. The injuries were not minor. They were serious enough to trigger legal action. And that's where the situation shifts. He has now launched a damages claim of up to £100,000, pointing toward the possibility that the venue may have failed in its duty of care. That detail matters, because once a legal claim is involved, the narrative changes from an unfortunate accident to a potential failure in responsibility. And that's exactly why this story didn't stay quiet. At first glance, it might seem straightforward. Someone falls, gets injured, and seeks compensation. But that's not why people are paying attention. This became a story because of where it happened and who it happened to. The O2 Arena is one of the most recognized venues in the UK. It represents scale, professionalism, and high standards. When something goes wrong there, it doesn't just stay local. It becomes a public conversation. And then there's Stephen Fry. He's not just another public figure. He's widely respected, known for his intelligence, and rarely associated with controversy. So when his name appears in a legal dispute like this, it immediately shifts perception. But that wasn't the only trigger. The real tension comes from the implication. If safety standards were not properly maintained, this could point to a much larger issue, one that affects not just celebrities, but everyone who walks into that venue. And that's where things started to escalate. At the surface level, the story is simple. A fall, an injury, a claim. But once you look closer, more layers begin to appear. The first layer is what the public sees immediately, a well-known figure injured in a high-profile location. That alone is enough to generate attention, but it doesn't explain anything. Then comes the second layer, responsibility. Because accidents happen. But in controlled environments, especially venues designed for thousands of people, every detail is supposed to be managed. Lighting, flooring, signage, accessibility. These are not minor factors. They are fundamental. So the question becomes, was there something that should have been addressed, but wasn't? And that's where uncertainty begins to grow. There hasn't been a full public breakdown of exactly what caused the fall. No confirmed single factor has been pointed to. And that gap, that lack of clarity, is exactly what fuels speculation. Because when the cause isn't clear, people start looking for possibilities. Was it a structural issue? A moment of misjudgment? Or something environmental that could have been avoided? And then something else adds to the tension. The legal claim itself. Filing for damages of this scale suggests that this wasn't seen as unavoidable. It suggests that, from Fry's perspective, something went wrong at a level that goes beyond personal misstep. And that changes how the entire situation is viewed. Because now it's not just about what happened, it's about whether it should have happened at all. And that's where the story stops being simple.